Approximately 3 years ago, I remember looking at a video or an image that I saw on social media somewhere of this young girl standing in front of this beautiful blue waterfall somewhere out in nature. And I remember looking at that image and wondering to myself, how do you do that? How do you become someone who does that, who is able to stand in front of something so beautiful and magnificent? How do you find that out in the world? And then how do you make your way to that? Because the task seemed insurmountable to me. I'd never really been hiking. I don't have a great sense of direction. And these images were so beautiful that I'd only seen them through a screen or on a paper. And my life seemed so far removed from someone who would ever see those things or experience those things. And I felt sadness and remorse that they didn't exist in my life. And then a few years later, I take a risk and apply for a contract position in a state I'd never been to and really had no desire to go to for any other reason than that contractual position. And I land right in the middle of what has to be the most beautiful place in America. I mean, maybe it isn't, but it has to be at the top of the list as the most beautiful places in America. Central Oregon has to be one of the most dangerous places to drive in the world. Not because of the roads, not because of the other drivers, but because the landscape around you is so beautiful everywhere you look that it's easy to become distracted, forget what you're doing, drive off a cliff, into a person, something like that. Just to become lost in the magnificence of it. And I landed right in the middle of that place, that every morning when I drove to work, I saw beautiful snow-capped mountains. And a few times I got to travel up in those mountains and see an alpine lake. I got to see so many waterfalls. So many magnificently blue bodies of water. All very cold, but so beautiful, so many of them. There were only 2 waterfalls that I didn't get to see during my time here that I wanted to see. And I hope to someday be able to come back and see them. They're still on my list. But if not, if I never saw another, I got to be that girl. I got to be that person who stood in front of a beautiful body of water, a beautiful waterfall. And it felt really, really, really fantastic. Because that's a person I never thought I would be. I guess you never know where life is going to take you. I never foresaw that I would have done the things or seen the things that I have over the last year and a half. But I did. It wasn't something that I had planned for myself and worked towards. It just, there were things I wanted and things just fell into place for them. And I believe they're gifts from God. Maybe God rewarding me for not shutting down emotionally, not retaliating when I'm hurt, not tolerating it and remaining in connection with people who are hurting me. Also being able to accept and let go of things that are not for me when I really want them to be. I believe when I do those things, I'm rewarded. I'm rewarded through things like this, that somehow something else falls together. Because I didn't stay in that destructive cycle. Because I did the hard thing of forgiving or surrendering and accepting circumstances or letting go of the thing that I really desperately want in that moment, even if it's not good for me. Or even if I think it will be good for me, accepting that it isn't part of the plan or it isn't part of my life in that moment. And allowing space for something else to be. I have to surrender and let go of what isn't working, or I don't even have space in my life for something else to come in. What are the things that you're holding on to? Are they things that have been in your life at all this week or today? Are they things that haven't been in your life in years? We are stuck and stagnant until we emotionally release those things from our body. And that's not easy, but it's also not easy to live in that stuck, stagnant place emotionally. Staying stuck in the in-between. I'm not in this life that I was in before, but I'm also not releasing it enough to move forwards into something new. And no one can do that for us. That shift of letting go, surrendering to what is, accepting, surrendering to what the reality that is, accepting it as it is, and moving forwards. That is a shift that only we can make for ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. And you can. It's not always easy, but you can. There's always good in life. There always has been. There have been a lot of hard things, but there have been a lot of really great things. By releasing a version of life that I wanted but had been shown was not for me. I was able to experience a new aspect of life that I didn't know I wanted, that was for me.